What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News. Happy 4th to everybody, that celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day. Let's talk about some boxing. A potential fight has been brewing back up, and it's actually been slowly brewing since the Linares victory. And I'm talking about Mr. High Tech, Vasili Lomachencko, and his potential fight with Devontay Tank Davis. Devontay, when High Tech was at 130, that fight should have been easily made. I think that was I don't think that Tank wanted that fight at that time, but of course, he's interested more so now. And it makes sense because, Linares was able to drop Lomachencko with a straight right, which he never seen coming. And it was a great knockdown, coming from someone with the speed of Linares. So Linares was was kind of a pioneer, so to speak, for potential guys getting brave enough to fight High Tech. So, Lama, it was probably the best thing because now people avoided Lomachencko like the plague. If you look back at from 126 to 130 to 135, when he was at 126, Rigondeaux, that was a potential super fight. Well, that fight, has happened and left. Rigondeaux quit in the 8th round. He said no mas. He didn't want no more of it. And he was able, but what he did, he moved up 2 weight classes to fight, Mr. High Tech. So he fought Lama at 130. Okay. But then Tank Davis was nowhere to be found. And honestly, I think that particular fight was only being pushed by Mayweather because I think Mayweather and Devontay Tank Davis, I think they had some kind of falling out. And that was Floyd's way of pretty much throwing him to the wolves. You know what I mean? And now, since the knockdown has opened up a whole new can of worms, a window of opportunity has presented itself for guys to get brave enough to fight him. This is what we have. Before the knockdown, no one wanted to fight Lomachencko. Lomachencko, he was that type of fighter that, he was so gifted, so skilled. His levels to this, like Jamal Charlo said, his levels to this, man, and that's where it was. So people looked at that fight like, man, High Tech, it's another Matrix exhibition, pretty much. You know what I mean? And but Tank Davis is a young guy. He's a fighter, though, and I've seen and I've looked at his fights. I've reviewed his fights. He has good feigning head movement, not all around good head movement, but feigning with counters. So he's good at setting up counters when someone throws a jab. However, Lomachencko is a southpaw, so when you're dealing with a southpaw, it's kind of hard to go off a traditional setting because each guy that I've seen him fight were, orthodox fighters. And Lomachencko is no stretch of the imagination a orthodox fighter. You know what I mean? Here's the question, okay? From skill versus skill, of course, you got to go with High Tech. But a lot of people did say this and made this point known. If Tank Davis would have hit Lomachencko with that same right, what would be the outcome? You know what I mean? Yeah, he would have went down more than likely because Tank has power. Now, he is edge in power, even at 130, because the guy, he is a little rock. You know what I mean? He can throw, he can bang. But, what would be the outcome of that fight? Would Tank Davis be in a position to throw that fight just like Linares did? Because Linares is a different fighter than us. And I say it again, styles make fights, but just to entertain the situation, okay? And we can recreate that. And he drops Lomachencko, okay? And he drops him. The best thing that he could do, in my opinion, I don't think he would knock him out, but if you notice Lomachencko, when he did get back up, he got right up, okay? But when he did get up, he did take time, and you noticed he did not throw a single punch from the remainder of that round. He didn't against Linares. And it kind of surprised me if Linares really wasn't, he didn't jump on him like I feel he should have. And that's one thing. And like I say, styles make fights. These guys are two different fighters. Tank Davis, I believe, would have stormed Lomachencko. So when Lomachencko got up, what would Lomachencko do to keep Tank Davis off of him if Tank Davis did catch him with a punch to hurt him, to drop him like that? You know what I mean? That's the question you ask. So that's a big question mark. And that's the question that I want to be answered in the ring when these guys fight. So, that type of question has to be answered, I feel, because, Tank Davis is known to be a beast, a scrapper. Definitely. He's a scrapper. He wants to fight. He likes to fight. He gets guys in trouble. He finishes you. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. He's a fighter. Okay. Not like necessarily a boxer. Okay. But he gets you in there. He has great instincts to get you out of there. I'm just wondering what he would do to Lomachencko. So we got to figure it out. So if this fight was going to happen, Davis was vocal for once that he did want to fight Lomachencko. The problem is Lomachenko's at 135 now. He's a belt holder at 135. Tank Davis is at 130. So I understand that Lomachenko's frustration in that, because Lomachenko's one of those throwback guys. He wants to fight the best guys. You know what I mean? And that's what really sets him up there with Terrence Crawford, along with his fighting ability and skill, is his desire to want to fight the best. That's why those guys are neck and neck. You know what I mean? You can take a Pepsi challenge on who's the best between him and Crawford. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people are going to they're going to judge that biasly or partially, impartial to, their particular fighter, if they're from somewhere or whatever. But, they're both Aram guys. They're both good fighters. And I don't want to make this about Crawford. I'm just saying, Lomachencko, he has the desire to fight the best. So he wanted to fight Tank Davis at that time. And Tank Davis was kind of MIA. The only guy that was talking for Tank Davis was his promoter, Mayweather. And we just discussed why I feel that fight wanted to get pushed at that time. Okay. So if Tank Davis really wants this fight, I think he should follow the footsteps of Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? Because Rigondeaux went up 2 weight classes to fight Lomachenko. So you have to give Rigo credit for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Who really does that these days, in these times? You know what I mean? A guy that wants to be the best, that wants to prove that he's the best. Which Rigo did go up, to 130. And he did get defeated, you know what I mean? And it really wasn't a contest because of the styles, okay? But, another thing I like about high-tech Lomachenko, he stated, it's not his division. 130 is not his weight class. He's a 122-pound fighter. He's one of the most avoided fighters at 122, and he said he was a great fighter. He gave Rigondeaux all the respect in the world, you know what I'm saying? And that's honorable, bro. It's reverence in that. You know what I mean? That's another thing I like about him. He's not one of those cocky guys. The only cockiness that he shows is in the ring. But verbally, no. Vocally, he doesn't. He doesn't have that type of spirit. You know what I mean? He doesn't talk a lot of smack outside the ring. He just really states the truth. And, like they asked him about Floyd and fighting Floyd and other fighters. He's like, well, that's not my division. I don't like to even talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So those type of things I like about him. But Tank Davis, I feel he should go up and fight and challenge him at 135 without vacating his belt at 130. So if he loses, it'll be like Kell Brook going to 160 to fight Golovkin. It really wouldn't be, it'll be a blemish on his record, but he would still be champion at his original weight class that he left from, because he could always go back to it. And I think that's what Tank should do. If he wants to fight Lomachenko, he needs to go up there and challenge Lomachenko like Rigo did. If Rigo can do it, so can Tank Davis, being an older guy instead of 37 or 38, how old Rigo was when they did fight. So I think he should take that challenge if he believes in himself. He can stay at 130 and parade there or whatever when Lomachenko was there, though, and you didn't want to fight him or whatever. Maybe he felt he was just too young. I mean, look, fighters are not invincible, bro. This is real. Guys get in the ring, they know what their strengths, their weaknesses are, and it's honestly knowing yourself. He didn't feel that he could beat Lomachenko then, but he thinks he can now, because of, the new change of events, the knockdown and so forth. So, no, but I would like to see that fight. I think if Lomachencko figures out Tank Davis, it will be a pretty easy night for him because Tank is not all that fast, but he is powerful. Now, in the power category, if Tank can catch Lomachencko and hurt him like Linares and change that fight, because this is boxing, if he can hurt Lomachencko, this fight can be a totally different fight, but Tank should just follow his own fighting instincts and just fighting high tech. Don't try to outbox him. Don't try to outmaneuver high tech because he's going to figure you out. He's going to figure out what you're going to do and exploit whatever you're trying to do. So the best thing you can do is do what Salido did. Fight him. Throw bodies. If you can't hit him upstairs, with more than likely you won't. Work the body to set up something upstairs. You know what I mean? Be aggressive, do the Rocky Marciano type of way. You know what I'm saying? Hit arms, gloves, biceps, shoulders, anything that you can come in contact with of fighting Lomachencko, because you got to make it a dirty, murky fight, because cleanly you won't beat him. You won't beat him cleanly, unless Tank throws a perfect punch, a Marquez-like punch when he fought Pacquiao in the fourth fight. Those type of punches. If those type of punches happen, okay, that's all she wrote. But, in reality, other than that, he needs to fight him and make it a pretty murky, drug-out fight. His punch volume has to be, equally dispersed with Lomachencko's, because if it doesn't, Lomachencko will be the busier guy throwing those combinations and confusing the hell out of Tank Davis, and and Tank being the age that he is, he might get frustrated and start throwing low blows and stuff like that, which that wouldn't be any good because that only just takes him off focus. So that would be my advice to Tank Davis if it can happen. But I would like to see it happen, and that's my opinion on that fight happening. He should go up to 135. I don't see there should be any reason for Lomachencko to come down to 130. The reason for that is because he was already there. That would be the only reason. You know what I'm saying? So if you had a fighter that was a champion at that weight class, that was already there, there would be no reason for him to move up and get a new belt at a new weight class and then to come back down just to fight you, to accommodate you. That's not how I wouldn't agree to that. I wouldn't agree to that at all. I think Tank Davis should go up there and challenge him for his title. You know what I mean? And see if he can beat him. And if he didn't, he deserves all the credit in the world because he did something that he refused to do before, or he was reluctant to do before. But anyway, that's my take on it, guys. You guys tell me what you think about Vasili High-Tech Lomachencko versus Devontay Tank Davis. Please leave your comments below. Please subscribe. Again, happy 4th to everybody. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.